What's up, y'all? Back with another video. Everything wrong with Vince McMahon. According to Christian Miracles, I would say everything is definitely wrong with Vince McMahon in general because he's the guy who ruined this company, ran this company into the ground all by himself. It's nothing to do with, basically the whole McMahon family has brought this company down to the ground. My boy Christian Miracles put up a video, everything wrong with Vince McMahon in general. Let's get to the video. I like that scary music in the background. It kind of makes me feel like watching 80s horror films. Never mind. I can't even talk right now.
As the owner and businessman of the most successful wrestling company in the world, one would think that Vince McMahon has no faults. This one-of-a-kind sins video shows you what a lot of us probably already know. This is everything wrong with Vince McMahon. Or so we know. One of Vince McMahon's biggest acts of controversy
the 97 screw job.
The Montreal screw job. Though a lot of it was Bret Hart's uncooperation due to real life he was Shawn Michaels, Vince had the audacity to secretly conspire against Bret behind his back.
Yeah, I remember this though.
A simple one in a
he was stupid for this one, for real.
Would have been fine.
He would have.
Okay.
Bret Hart would have stuck long enough in the Attitude Era.
With Hulk Hogan. When the real
like, just think of the amazing storylines that he would have had with all the wrestlers,
Both matches with Hulk in 2003 and Bret in 2010 turned into absolute failures at that Mania and made us wish we never saw them in the first place. The entire existence of the XFL, the entire existence of McMahon's $1 Million Mania, the entire existence of Hornswoggle being Vince's son, the entire existence of the Brawl for All, the entire
that was
existence
stupid.
of the Lana Russo
that was the worst storylines ever.
That went nowhere. The entire existence of the Gobbledygooker. The entire existence of the 2019 wild card rule in a desperate attempt to get more.
That was also stupid.
The entire existence of the Katie Vick storyline adds 1,000 sins automatically. Something worth another sins goes for the fact that Vince and WWE chose to continue the Over the Edge pay-per-view in 1999 after the tragic death of Owen Hart took place, without giving anyone a chance to prosper what just happened. Props to the Dark Side of the Ring for bringing that sin up. Invasion was one of WWE's
are you serious, Chris?
However, Vince's execution of the actual WCW Invasion angle was horribly done, even despite the huge twist of Shane McMahon purchasing WCW. Speaking of other horribly executed
man, Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness was so much better without Shane McMahon and
fans were legitimately
creating the corporate ministry. I hated that part.
McMahon all along, advising the Undertaker to torment his own family. Very frustrating because it meant more confusing plot holes than the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Vince McMahon always had a love-hate relationship with Jim Ross, but sometimes things crossed the line, like when Vince literally mocked JR suffering of constant battles with Bell's palsy.
Oh, really?
In with Hornswoggle. Mocking medical conditions is fucked up, storyline or not. Vince
you
McMahon
crossed the line, bro.
Sneezing. Of course, who would want to get sneezed on? But if he ever sneezed in his presence, he'd go on a much higher rage than Donald Trump after losing the 2020 election, even if you were far away, apparently. Boy, I wonder how many employees ran away into the next room just to sneeze and then return. Obviously, I'm not digging into
especially if you have COVID-19, you might as well.
Rumors with no evidence to support it.
This is
that Vince McMahon's harsh treatment
this was really stupid. I've always hated this gimmick or this segment.
Whether it was the Barkin sequence or that disgusting affair storyline where Vince made out with Trish in front of his wife. We don't even need proof for this, but it's clear that Vince McMahon is afraid of competition. Nobody likes being second to another company, but I believe if Vince wasn't afraid of companies including WCW and more recently AEW getting popular, the possibilities for epic crossovers like the Marvel Cinematic Universe would have been endless.
Just picture them AEW and WWE, just colliding together and for real. That would have made so much money. It had viewers going crazy.
Sting was the last soldier of WCW, which made his loss at Mania seem like the final nail in the coffin of WCW. If WCW and the Monday Night Wars were never brought up, perhaps Sting's loss would have been not as bad as it was. It's an absolute shame regarding the major incident of June
they pretty much messed up Sting's career.
Wrestling industry.
It was short-lived.
This was poorly timed in the circumstances, but the death of
I remember this,
where he blew up in his limousine was completely ridiculous. Let's face it, how the hell would that be pulled off?
I thought that was actually real at first.
And then what?
That he actually died in that fire and burning car.
Making a mockery of Shawn Michaels' religion and founding of God at Backlash 2006 with having a spotlight shot
man.
Somebody called my mom.
I had no idea. That
Shawn
was just weird.
In the match, you could tell that he was not pleased with this sort of thing. In more recent days, there have been a lot of things Vince has done wrong with WWE in terms of creativity. While he continues to make amazing moments here and there, the problem with that is they come here and there. While some TV shows have filler episodes having a big-time seasons, a lot of Raw and SmackDown have been an extreme filler. In 2012, Monday Night Raw was extended to 3 hours in length, which at the time was understandable.
That should have been a one-time thing, not keep going 2 years later.
When the 2016 brand split was created, Raw continued to be 3 hours, and a lot of times Vince would have certain...
Yeah, that's why SmackDown was always the best show.
They somehow didn't have enough talent to fill the show. I will never deny that Vince is the reason we are here today, but I will also never deny that maybe it's time to pass the torch in terms of creativity. For the most part, in 2020, Raw and SmackDown were thrown together hours, or sometimes minutes, prior to the show beginning. Vince McMahon also hired new writers every now and then, but when said writers have potentially cool ideas, Vince refuses them and goes with his own vision, which makes us wonder what the point of the hiring was. One of Vince's craziest obsessions came in 2011, when the exchange of
I didn't really... At first, I'm gonna get to that by the end of the video.
Undertaker having one-off matches against dream opponents at WrestleMania, but then suddenly turned into Brock Lesnar title reigns and Goldberg's absolute squashing of wrestlers like Kevin Owens and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Only reason Vince McMahon is constantly bringing in these old legends and part-time wrestlers to big events is to get higher ratings, which from a business standpoint is understandable. However, in doing so, he accidentally converted the audience into realizing the talent of today are being outshone by the talent of yesterday. This is not a guarantee, but I believe Vince is afraid of many wrestlers using their talent to absolute perfection, thinking anything but his own vision would not be good enough to satisfy the audience. I think it's worth taking the risk. After all, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith climactic battle between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader had a script with only 2 words that said, "They fight." And look how that turned out with the audience. Vince believes toning down the abilities of his wrestlers is a good idea so that everyone can be on an equal...
They completely ruined Sami Zayn's character.
NXT call-ups like Sami Zayn,
turned into this whiny little mark.
Samoa Joe, and Aleister Black. Vince has the audience wondering, what happened? That's not how I remember they wrestle. Speaking of NXT call-ups, Vince sees the popularity in NXT stars and brings them up to the main roster, only to
and ruins them
for them or to give them a complete makeover.
I ain't trying to get into that detail.
Experience for the War Raiders. One of the scariest things is Vince McMahon knows what's wrong with a lot of things. The problem is he's not capitalizing on his realization that younger talent deserve the chance to shine as the next generation. And when he does finally start pushing them, in comes Goldberg or Brock Lesnar or another part-timer to destroy that. 2020 and the pandemic caused a lot of major shifts in WWE.
Oh, this was the worst.
And even
this was the worst.
Yet Vince McMahon blamed WWE's declining ratings on the younger talent for not helping.
That's his fault!
Given that he's the one who made them undermine their own abilities in the first place.
That is his fault,
Speaking of the pandemic era, Vince and the USA Network actually believed that ratings would improve with the newly created Thunderdome. While I applaud WWE for creating such an amazing idea, it was not what we were hoping would improve greatly, especially in these troubling times. It was fantastic when Vince McMahon finally gave women more chances to showcase their talent on a level equal to the male wrestlers. Unfortunately, one of his biggest fails was introducing the Women's Tag Team Championship in 2019.
That's the ugliest belt I've ever seen.
Introduced only because fans wanted it. The right way would have been to get more female wrestlers into the company, create a tag team division for them, build them up, and then bring in the titles. So far, the only thing Vince did was bring in the titles. I'm not saying Vince McMahon should have never taken the Saudi Arabia deal. I'm just saying he should have made those events at least.
Yeah, they need to stop doing this crap.
Overseas pay-per-view events that turned out to be complete wastes of time, designed to piss us off and question our fandom. That's the scariest thing for a wrestling fan to think about. While former WWE wrestlers including CM Punk and Jon Moxley came off as whiny in their blaming of Vince, they did have understandable stories of why they left the company and why Vince has done a lot of wrong in recent years. A major run from Vince McMahon is his
the third-party stuff.
Platforms including Twitch. If they aren't allowed to use their WWE own name, completely understandable. But those wrestlers can't even portray themselves with their real names on other platforms.
It's just dumb.
WWE wrestlers are known as independent contractors, which technically means they have the right to work elsewhere.
Exactly!
They don't. Vince McMahon and the biggest wrestling company in the world can't even get their wrestlers eligibility for health insurance due to illness.
Yeah, I would not work for Vince McMahon.
In case things
Period.
go wrong. Yikes. I know for a fact that there is more to tell of what is wrong with Vince McMahon. Hell, I only covered a few topics. However, no matter what I say, it all comes down to this. Vince McMahon is the biggest legend in professional wrestling for his success of WWE. But even the biggest legend must eventually pass the torch to the next generation in order for the future to succeed.
Exactly.
This final sin may be a scary thing to think about, but it's what I believe is true. By refusing to step down and giving others a chance to do their part for the wrestling business, Vince McMahon seems to be a captain of a ship that'll go down with them. Here's the hope in the future will be brighter this decade. But until then, final sin.
This is crazy, man. Vince McMahon is the type of dude that will not give up. No matter what you do, will not allow you to work in third-party apps, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for that matter, even YouTube. He gave Undertaker the okay to get on Cameo, but not allow the other wrestlers to get on cameos as well. Doesn't that seem hypocritical? Then on top of that, he basically, the way he treats the women wrestlers back then, it's like prostitutes or strippers and porn stars rather than like wrestlers. And that Trish Stratus segment, I hated it. I didn't like it. I just thought it was stupid. I'm sorry. Regardless, Vince McMahon needs to step down, give it to Triple H, Stephanie, or Shane McMahon to make this company a better place. If not, then he's going to continue to lose fans. Like myself. Just saying. If y'all enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. See you.